of course, how it was designed, at least Bitcoin, it has the mean or the idea to be a digital payment system. So it's a digital virtual currency that wants to be a digital payment system. But now, I mean, what is a digital payment system? At the end of the day, it's almost a big ledger or a database where you keep track of different transactions, right? Like who has sent how much to whom and what is the balance at the end of the day.
Das ist der HSG Student Podcast. Mein Name ist Olli und zusammen gehen wir auf die Suche nach spannenden Geschichten und Persönlichkeiten von der HSG. Crypto, one of the most dominant buzzwords, I think, in the last couple of years. With, for example, Bitcoin prices that were, rallying up to 60,000, 70,000 Bitcoin, and then equally quickly go back, being smashed down to 20, 25K. I think a lot of things have been happening, and this is, I think, also one or a great moment for the HSG Student Podcast to ask, what is crypto? Why is it so volatile? And why does everyone seem to bother, even though at the moment there are some, issues around? And I think we really have to talk about this. And today we will talk about this with my guest, Alexandre Picard. Hi.
Hi, Oli. Very nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for coming and sharing your knowledge and I think also passion about crypto with me and us today. You have been working the past few months with Sygnum, like the first crypto bank in Switzerland, I think, or even worldwide. I'm not even sure. And you have been studying business before, I think 1 or 2 years back in St. Gallen. And yeah, this is, I think, summarizes what you have been doing. Did I forget anything? Is there something people need to know about you?
No, I mean, that's it. I started studying in St. Gallen in 2017, right? And then we did so in business administration, my bachelor. And then slowly when Corona hit and when we were back at home, I spent a lot of time home and then was interested in the, let's say, working world actually. And then started working now almost 18 months ago and had the chance to join Sygnum and joining, as you said, the first digital asset bank. So happy to now have improved my crypto knowledge and be able to be here today to share about it.
And when you look back to 2 to 3 years, did you expect, that you would work for Sygnum at some point? I mean, it's still also a young company, but, was crypto on your mind somehow?
No, so looking 2 years back like crypto was not one of my main topic of interest, or I was not passionate about it, let's say it like that. What's for sure is that I've always been interested in technology, new things, going on, AI, and just technology in general. And when I wanted to start working, I was interested of joining a relatively small company and active in, let's say, basically trying to build something new or doing something new. And then this led me to join a crypto company, but I really think it could have been various different topics.
And now tell me a bit about this journey. I think, so what I understand is you first chose the company because it was young, it seemed to be quite dynamic, and then you got fascinated about crypto. But why was it then eventually that you got so fascinated and decided to stay also with the company for longer? Because I think you did the internship first and then you have now a full-time position basically.
Yes, correct. So I think I joined the company also in an internship and in a department where, let's say, the knowledge about the crypto was not a prerequisite. And then just, on a daily basis, speaking with the people, I think there are really some brilliant people, and just wanting to understand more of, what is going on, what are we talking about, what are they talking about. I also had the chance to be a lot in contact with developers, developing smart contracts or whatever. And I think this was really then what triggered it. And then, I had to know, so started reading things, listening to more to more content about crypto, and then trying to dive a bit into it and understand what's under, as you said, the big headlines and everything.
And for all those who somehow heard this buzzword and then they read the media and they get confused about, because there's so many terms buzzing around: crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, blah blah blah. What are good resources besides talking to people in those companies, which some people who might listen can't do because they work somewhere else or they're still students? What would you recommend them to do?
I mean, it might sound very, very obvious, but I think that, as a starting point is maybe just start asking the basic questions and to Google, like really what is it about? How does it work? Why does it work like that? What's the idea behind it? And then, I mean, if we can name some great resources, but there are fantastic books in both directions. You have books that are very pro crypto, pro Bitcoin, really, that expose the whole thesis, and you can also read books that completely destroy crypto, which is super interesting as well. And I mean, you really have great content out there, and I think to me the first advice is just like, do you actually know what it means, what is behind it? And that's really the first step. And for that, you don't need much. You just need a few minutes, a bit of interest, and then dive into it.
Did you read Satoshi's white paper for Bitcoin?
I did. I think it's it's almost a must read, and it's I mean, it's not long. It's a few pager.
Did you understand it? Because I think it's I think the beginning is rather easy, but it gets some kind of complicated, right?
I think what's interesting is really almost the first page, right? Like just the conceptual topics and points about what in this case Bitcoin is. And I think this already, sets the stage pretty much and gives an understanding of what is actually the idea behind it, and why this invention was actually brought to life, why it was invented. And
is there any favorite resource, not a recommendation, but a favorite resource that you yourself refer to that sometimes during work?
I think, as a, common resource I could think of, it's, you have some YouTube channels, or I think one is called Coin Bureau, and they do really amazing content almost on a daily basis. And if you want to be, if you want to be keep up to date and know a bit what's happening and have really, some amazing content, that's a pretty easy resource. You have videos about everything that comes out almost every day. It must be a huge team behind it, and it's I think a very well prepared content. So that would be one great resource. And otherwise you have some basic books about Bitcoin and the whole broader ecosystem. I couldn't cite the names anymore, but there are good resources.
So I think we're definitely gonna link Coin Bureau's YouTube link into our podcast description, so everyone who listens will find it. But maybe let's dive a bit deeper into more of the content dimension. And I think let's really start off with this crypto. I think it has been mentioned so often and by so many media. And can you maybe clarify, what do we mean if we say crypto? Because it's like, it's a cryptic term, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think here it's almost, the question is very easy, but at the same time extremely complex, because to me a bit almost a problem is that since now years we are putting, or the media is putting behind crypto everything. And everything is probably a cryptocurrency, but you have things that are days and nights. I don't know if we could compare to something else, but it's also almost as we would, use like the term vehicles, and we put, cars and motorbikes and everything. Like, it has almost nothing to do. And I think this is already something that is important to understand. But what's behind the meaning of a crypto or a cryptocurrency at the end of the day? It's a digital or virtual currency. So something that only exists on the internet. And the main idea is that it uses cryptography to basically secure or send a transaction. And what's also, I would say, a key concept is that, of course, how it was designed, at least Bitcoin, it has the mean or the idea to be a digital payment system. So it's a digital virtual currency that wants to be a digital payment system. But now, I mean, what is a digital payment system? At the end of the day, it's almost a big ledger or a database where you keep track of different transactions, right? Like who has sent how much to whom and what is the balance at the end of the day. And the idea of crypto, and therefore this is where blockchain is engaged, is to record all of these transactions in blocks and then to link them together. So that's the blockchain. And what is the idea of it is that, so this is completely, the blocks are verified and created in a decentralized fashion. So you have this, and the records are publicly available. So anyone can consult the records at any time. I think this is also, quite a fascinating concept. And that also no central entity can alter this database actually. So you cannot just go to the database, revert something. It's impossible, and it's made impossible by the nature of blockchain. So it's already a lot of terms, but it's basically, it's a payment system that it's digital and that it's secure by cryptography.
People might have to, go back a couple times or listen to it in a slower tempo. But I think it's great. I think it's super interesting. You mentioned it is really, really safe, or basically immutable. And what I think sometimes people also, or what researchers are also talking about, are those quantum computers, right? Is this like a danger to let's say this technology, or?
Here I wouldn't be comfortable to answer the question. I think a mathematician or something really with cryptographic knowledge might be better suited to give a good answer.
Precise and proper.
Exactly. But what would be important to me and to say is that, let's also keep in mind, and maybe, but it doesn't remove anything, is that Bitcoin and crypto is almost, it's an experiment. It's an invention that was brought to life like in 2009, and it's running since then. No major issues have happened, and blocks are created every few minutes, and it's running. And yes, maybe there will be, we have to think about some improvements going forward, but I think for now and how it was designed, the notion of quantum computers, etc., was known, and it should be pretty resilient to it. But at the end of the day, it will be some, it's mathematical, knowledge or how could I say, encryption behind. So this will be as good as this encryption mechanism are.
And tell me, based on this definition, or based on this function properties, how is Sygnum, making a business out of it? Why is there a business opportunity? It's maybe a bit naive question, but
no, I think it's a fair question, and it's a question a lot of people could ask. And I think there is almost two directions to answer the question. And the first direction is, given the past returns, and you talked about the volatility, you talked about the buzzword, etc., but crypto has been hitting some pretty, some impressive market caps. This new asset class is here, and I think it cannot be ignored anymore by a lot of fund manager or people managing big portfolios. And even if you cannot kind of close your eyes anymore, even if you believe or don't believe, but it's it's there. And I think also for portfolio manager, it could almost be some sort of a risk to not be exposed to this new asset class, because it is a new asset class. So I think that's one point. Maybe you.
Yes, I want to jump in real quick before you go on with the second point. So do you have like an opinion on, using crypto to somehow hedge more traditional portfolios? Do you know anything about that? How the correlation is? Because, what we learn in finance, right, in the bachelor's degrees is like minimized variance, and maybe, and if you have like -1 correlation, this gets a bit easier, because whenever something goes up, something will go down, and this reduces your risk basically. Do you have any ideas on that? How people, or what people say about this topic?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question because it get me thinking, because what we saw in the last few years is that crypto was extremely correlated to almost all the tech stocks and tech industry. So, or to the Nasdaq, for example. So it's a good question. I mean, you can hedge. I mean, you can hedge some position with it, but we also see that it's correlated. So I don't know if it's more an extension currently of the tech sector or the tech stocks, for example, or if it's something else. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to give a clear answer, but definitely something to give some thoughts
to
about.
remember for all the Maximilians out there to play on some cliches. No, I was just kidding. You were elaborating. You wanted to mention the second point. To Sygnum's basically
exactly. So what's the idea? Why is there the need, let's say, of a bank in this concept of decentralized system? And I think, as we talked about, so if you think yourself managing some money or even having quite a bit of crypto at one point in time, I mean, how cryptos work, right? That what gives you the security or the access to your funds is this famous private key. And keeping this private key safe is something, I mean, that is fundamental, that is extremely important. But if you lose your private key or if it's altered, you're done. Exactly. So you can also very quickly think of situations where one doesn't want to actually hold the private key himself and wants to delegate that job to someone. Because what happens if your private key is somewhere hidden in your room or something, and something happens to you? Will your family ever get access to the crypto? Probably not. Or do you want, if, I don't know, you're a private, a family office manager, you're holding funds or managing funds of a lot of people, probably they don't really like that one person is responsible for the private key that he or her has written on a little piece of paper. So I think there's really a business case there as well to offer this security, this certainty about the management of the private keys, and do it on a, I mean, regulated and really battle-proof fashion that no one can access it. I mean, that you can access them, but no one else.
But isn't that maybe also a bit of a contradiction? Because on the one hand, you say everything is so decentralized and somehow democratic, everyone can have a look at it. And then on the other hand, you say, okay, maybe it's like there's a business model, or maybe it's interesting for one party to somehow gather some private keys together and to manage them for other parties. Isn't that a contradiction?
It's true. Taken on the philosophical level, yes, it can be seen as a contradiction of what is actually intended. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know if the analogy would be great, but that's maybe this. I don't think individuals feel safe to hold everything at home, and this is why they are safes or they are banks or things like that. So I still think there is a use case, but if you think about it on the philosophical question, maybe there is a contradiction of what was the first idea of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and what the business case is right now. But then I still think what is nice is that everyone can decide, and it still works without entities that do that, so that it's really like, you can do, or a user can do how he wants, and it's still perfectly open and everything.
And luckily the world is not black and white.
Exactly,
either or.
Exactly. Yeah.
One last question on Sygnum before we move on to, again, more, let's say technical parts of the discussion. And the question is, can I come to Sygnum and say, look, I have 100 francs, I want to transfer them into Bitcoin, please create the wallet, give me a private key, and I want to have some fun on the market?
I mean, you can try, but no, the idea, let's say, or I think what the focus is right now is more on institutions or private, I mean, private individuals that have some sort of, I mean, substantial amount of crypto. So maybe it's your case. I don't know. You can try to onboard and we'll see.
Not at the moment. I think I will have to do quite a lot of podcasts in the next couple of weeks and months and to gather some more wealth to be eligible for Sygnum. Okay, but understood. So Let's move on some of these, buzzword key terms. So we looked at Bitcoin and blockchain, and then I think the other big thing that's out there is Ethereum, which is this smart concept of a smart contract. Can you maybe elaborate a bit on how is this related to Bitcoin and what is the relation of Ethereum to blockchain? Maybe I think it's a huge question, but maybe you can break it down into some parts that make it graspable, if you want to.
No, sure. So let me try to answer this question to the best of my ability. But so let's maybe start first, right? So Bitcoin was invented in 2000. I mean, the white paper came out in 2008, went live in 2009. It's this, this anonymous founder, like you don't know who it is. Like it's really this very almost philosophical idea or revolutionary idea, that's for sure. And so it's out there since 2009. It's the most battle tested protocol that you have right now. It has survived the years pretty impressively. And this was really designed as almost entirely a payment network. And then in 2015, so the Ethereum let's say guys or team came and they had basically an idea to enhance this functionalities a little bit. So what they added basically to this payment network is also the possibility to make this protocol or this chain programmable. So you can program something, as you say, smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain. And this completely changed the game, let's say again, or not changed it, but added a new horizon to it, because then you have so much possibilities that opened up thanks to that, because you can basically code things on this blockchain, making them so again completely open. Everyone can consult them, decentralized. Everyone can use it, and this enables DeFi, enables a lot of things and smart contracts. And here, smart contracts, we are talking about contracts. So you can actually, put a rule there and says, hey, if I agree that and you do that, then this happens, this transaction happens. And this is really a brand new concept. And here again, sorry, just to finish. So if we come back to this question about crypto at the very beginning of the podcast, like what is crypto? And here again, you see like Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's two completely different approach, two completely different projects, and they are both a cryptocurrency. So this is why I think sometimes crypto can be so, a bit confusing, because everything is under it.
And what would be, an idea or an example for such a smart contract? Is there? I think there have been many use cases already proposed. What is one that you find somehow, let's say, intelligent?
No, I think what is pretty fascinating is, for example, if we go really on the basic, for example, financial products, you have some application that were built on it that enables you to borrow and lend funds. So in a decentralized fashion, without having to be able to to have access to the service or not, you can just put some of your funds as a collateral, for example, and then earn interest on them. Or you can also borrow money, borrow some funds, and exactly, as I said, then you put a counterparty and then you pay interest. And I really think this opens up so many possibilities, and this is, let's say, only in the financial sector or financial product or services, but it just makes them available for anyone having an internet connection. And I think this is a pretty powerful example, and there are thousands of this project, but this is really, for example, a good example. So lending, borrowing, like decentralized fashion, everyone can play, like the rules are the same for everyone. And if you have $100, you can borrow against or lend your $100, and if you have a bit more, or
you can lend bigger amounts. It still
works, and I think this is fascinating idea.
What are good places to start, engaging as a, let's say, retail investor? Is it like, what I heard about this Binance, but I think Binance is somehow now facing some serious allegations in the US. Are there any alternatives that you propose, or that you maybe use yourself? I don't know.
Yeah, I think what I would advise, and in any case, a financial advisor or whatever, so full disclosure, but no, it's really like find yourself a place where you can access or buy or sell or access to digital assets easily, but then hold them on your own. Like have your your hardware wallet or a ledger or a Trezor or something like that, and then basically buy what you want, transfer them to your wallet that you own, you control, and then play around and test on the different application, etc. And I think this is the best learning, because then you also understand how it actually works, what it requires, etc. And you are not doing it via an application or via a provider on exchange like Binance or Coinbase, for example. So I still think you will probably need one of these companies to buy or to sell your cryptos if you don't have any. But then I would strongly suggest to send them out to your proper wallet once you have them.
Understood. And what I do, I have some Ethereum and I have some Bitcoin, but in very, very low amounts. And I bought them through my local bank. But it's not. I don't think that they invested like directly in the Bitcoin. They invested like in a product that replicates the Bitcoin course. I think for everyone who is still very skeptical but still wants to get a nose into it, this might be an option. But what I wanted to ask, you're holding some Bitcoin yourself, I guess.
Yes.
And I remember the first time when I bought Bitcoin, I'm curious now what you think about it. I think I got so stressed, because it was so volatile. I think, you can go from minus X% to plus X% in one day, or in a very, that's so stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it definitely can be, but I think, as any investment, you need just to understand for yourself why you're buying it and for what. And yeah, I guess, if you are putting your money for your retirement in Bitcoin, then maybe it can be pretty stressful, but you just need to know, why are you buying it and what's the idea behind it. And I think then you can probably live with it pretty well. But that's for sure. It can be volatile.
I think another term that I'd like to discuss with you is, there exists this Bitcoin. I understand it. I understood now, what the difference is or what Ethereum is. And then there exists those, this Dogecoin, and then there's Litecoin, and then there's you name whatever coin. Is this the same principle, or how does it work? Why can there be so many, different coins, or what is the implication of it? Because I think one term that was buzzing around the internet is also that you have then shit coins, basically.
Yes. So, maybe let's first try to understand where it comes from. And so, yeah, let's go one step back. And so what is a crypto? It's something that is completely open, that is, open source, everything. So the code, how it has been built. You can rebuild one. We can create a coin, for example, so an ERC20, which is a coin that lives on the Ethereum blockchain. We can create that in 2 minutes. You can create your own coin. So
I'd love to do that once, but maybe not today.
So no, but this is the point. So it's very, very easy to create a crypto or a project, and then of course you need to understand what's behind it. Why did they just create it to have fun, or what's the idea? And this is then where this term of shitcoins come around. And of course, when there is hype in the market and everything is pumping, etc., probably the in French we would say it's un lapin du gain. I don't know how it is in English.
I think it's something with a rabbit, right? Lapin is a rabbit.
Yeah, kind of. The playing the game is worth it. That you. So and I think it's a bit the thing. Then maybe you have people coming around. Let's try to create our coin. Let's try to pump it to sell it, and maybe it will work. And then we just we sell it. And this is, in one sense, it's the not nice part of crypto, but at the other sense, it's the whole essence of it. It's completely open. It's completely free. Everyone can do it. It's open to everyone. So at the end of the day, it will be what are we valuing, which projects, make sense, and where do we want to invest, or what do we think has value.
And basically, I mean, what determines the value of a coin? Is it like the how many people want to buy it, or how many transactions there are, or I guess there might also be other indicators, I guess, but.
Yeah, I think here we can really we can answer this question two ways. Let's first start the technical way. So how could you identify a project that could have potential? Then it's understanding the team, understanding how much activity is there behind. Are the developers active? Like is it progressing? What is being done? How is the issuance plan, like all of that. Basically, does it make sense,
what is the game
or
plan,
is it
basically?
exactly is it a scam? And try to identify that. Try to identify also as well which protocols are most used. Is there a lot of user activity? Are there apps being built on that chain, etc.? Like trying to understand these things. And the second answer that I would give is, this is almost like we could write it could be an exam question, but like. How do we define value? What's the value of our money at the end of the day? What is it? It's trust, it's convenience, it's all of that.
Yeah, it works everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. And once you have designed that, then we can also all agree, like, this crypto, we all trust it, we all like accept it, and we go ahead. So it's maybe it's not a straightforward answer. There is maybe no answer, but maybe one will play out, maybe not. It's a huge experiment, I will say. It's technology moving forward, and we will see what comes out. And
tell me, why do you really believe in Bitcoin and crypto? What makes you so convinced? Or maybe what is your dimension of success, so to say? So because if you believe it's going to be successful, somehow there is need to be the question, what is the success? How is it measured, basically? What do you think? Why are you so convinced?
I wouldn't take the question that way. I wouldn't say, but I would like to, let's try to understand basically why, for example, Bitcoin was invented, and what's the problem that it can solve. So I don't know. If I need to give you 10 francs today because I owe you 10 francs, we are in the same room, I can give you the 10 francs, we are settled pretty easy. If tomorrow already you went to South America, exams are finished, you go to holidays, right? And I owe you 10 francs, then it's already a bit more complicated because you're not here, I cannot send it to you, right? So how do we do? I probably have some options. We can do a bank transfer. We can use this, TransferWise, PayPal, etc. But what happens there? So either it takes, if I use a normal bank, it will take like days and days, or even more than that. We will pay a lot of fees. It will take a lot of time, and most of it I need to kind of trust someone to that. This will be delivered, or that the transfer will be accepted, will be processed, etc. So there is a middleman. You could even think of the middleman going one step back. Like, I want to send you the $10 bill or 10 francs bill, so I will send it per post. But I still need to trust the postman, the post service, to actually deliver the envelope to you, right? So that's then, okay, we have, let's say, a middleman. It takes time. We have big fees. So what would not, and this is just one example, right? But what would then wouldn't it be great to have some sort of digital currency where we can just send over the internet almost instantly to someone funds, and we can do it tonight, we can do it tomorrow, we can do it over the weekend, and it just happens. And then you have your funds, the deal is settled, and we didn't need to trust anyone. There was no central authority saying, no, I'm not allowed to send there or whatever. And I think that's, it's just one example, but that would be an example of why people believe, what is behind, and then also where values come from. So I think these are the main points, And then financial, security. You can have a lot of different points. If you have all your funds in the banks and something happens, maybe you cannot access your funds anymore. If you have some of your funds in crypto, or even you could be, in stable coins, if you don't like being, subject to volatility, then, it's available 24 hours, 24/7, always. So yeah, that's only a few points, but I think thinking at all of these cases, it has some valid arguments.
But still, there's very quite regular basis. There are those stories about scams that happened, and my question is, did those scams happen because of the design of Bitcoin and blockchain, or is it rather that there were, let's say, stupid people and then more stupid people who got tricked basically by those other stupid people? Or
yeah, it's an interesting question, because I think we can really see, we can see multiple angles here. One of it is, I don't know, maybe you could refer to, what happened with FTX or so this last few months. So was it a problem of crypto, or was it a problem of not people? Crypto? Yeah. Did the blocks, did they keep happening? Did everything keep running smoothly, or did everything hold? And no, it's not. The underlying technology worked properly, but what was the issue is what was built on top. Of course, then you can have, we also had in the few months before, you had some Luna collapses and things like that, where there, let's say, some protocols, the technology actually failed.
Yeah.
But
that was because it was, badly programmed.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So this can also happen, and I think this is where, it's fascinating, but it can also be scary. But it's really, I'm still coming back to it. But it's an open experiment, so everyone can experiment, and then, depending on how good it was built, then it lasts or it doesn't. And some of the cryptos are around, since almost 15 years now, and still haven't broken down. No one has found any vulnerabilities, or they have been fixed. But of course, if we create a crypto tonight, probably it will have some tweaks and it will not hold very long, right? So
takes a bit more than the before mentioned 2 minutes to create a proper proper blockchain. But as far as I understand, blockchain is also running on the internet, right? Basically, or Bitcoin. If a Bitcoin is running basically on the internet, right? The Bitcoin protocol, if you want so.
Yeah, so it's, I guess technically speaking, it's not running on the internet. It's running on many machines or computers. Yeah. So it's decentralized, but you need the internet to access it. So you need an internet connection to consult this database, this ledger. You need an internet connection, but it's not running on.
So assuming the unlikely scenario, the internet breaks down.
Yeah.
Is that a danger to,
Bitcoin? It's a very good question. What's the danger? You cannot, obviously transactions cannot be processed anymore, but your funds will still be safe. They will not be gone. Once the internet connection is restored, everything will start again.
Okay, so basically it can be it's running all the time. It's just the access of the people who can,
could be. Yeah, I guess here it would work a bit, same as, if all internet is down anyway, you cannot send funds over your bank anymore neither. So it's but it's
anyways anarchy.
it's a prerequisite, let's say. Without internet it will not work.
Okay, I think that was really interesting. Thank you so much for all of these insights. Maybe we get to talk about a bit more later, but another topic that I'd like to jump into is, and that I think this is also very interesting for HSG students, because it's somehow like a career path that some might consider, or some maybe also didn't know that this exists. And this is this career path of product owner, product management. This is your current position as well at Sygnum. Maybe let's jump in very bluntly. What do you do as a product manager all the day? What is a product manager? I think sometimes, position is not so famous. I think more people would look for consultants and analyst position and whatever. Why should people look for product owner and product management positions?
Great question. So I think a product manager, how could you explain that in a few sentences and then maybe go a bit more into details? But it's in a company that builds systems or any kind of software, but I even think it could be, propagated to actual hardware products. You have some needs or some requests, for example, from the clients or let's say the business side. So you want to build that, or you want this feature, you want to do that. And then you need someone or a team that basically puts this feature from thoughts, from desire or whatever to reality. And this is what product management does. So it's really basically kind of transforms the business needs into an actual product. And so this means at a more granular, so understanding, of course, the needs, really like, defining the features, understanding what are the requirements, what is required to actually build it. And then you will go, let's say, to the technical side and see with the developers how is it actually possible to build that. And then then the goal is to build it, to make sure that everything works, and then the product is there and can be used by anyone. So it's really this whole the product life cycle you're involved in. I think this is very interesting.
And do you have the possibility to explain a bit what your product or your products is or are at Sygnum? Like, what are the kind of products you would manage in your specific position?
So sure, we can go into these details, but maybe a product to define it. What is it? It's let's say it's a system that has one function. Maybe, for example, I don't know, a login page or a login process for you want to open a bank account and you need to provide, your ID, your information. This could be a product in its own, like the onboarding product. And then you could have one product, for example, let's say what I'm actually doing, I'm working with the custody solutions. So the product we are designing is actually how can we make sure that clients can transfer their digital assets, that where they are stored, let's say that they are safe, and how can they interact, let's say, with their digital assets. And this is then what the product is about. So it's, how do I make sure that this transaction happens as the client wants? What does the client want to do when he does a transaction, etc. So there are really many products you could think of, and
And so, how did HSG prepare you for that, if at all?
I think it's a good question. I mean, I'm not even sure, what would be the main path to be prepared, but because it's a position or a role that involves really a lot of different skills, and you don't need all of them. You can learn a lot of them, but you kind of need to be familiar, or at least comfortable with a lot of different and various topics, because you need to understand the business requirements. You need to be to make sure that the expectations are right, that you can actually deliver what you promise. So to make sure that from business side it's understood correctly, that you are starting to build the right thing, that you have the good amount of resources, that the time that you need to build it, like all of that is understood. And then of course you also have, for example, a lot on the technical side, like how do you communicate all of these needs with the developers? How do you are in contact with them more than half of the day. So you still need a bit of technical knowledge to be able to help the team, to be part of the team, actually, to challenge the people, to see what can be done, how we can do it, etc., to also bring ideas. And then of course, let's say everything that also comes around of having a team, interacting with a lot of stakeholders. And so I guess how HSG would prepare you is more that this a bit multidisciplinarity that we have at HSG, this would prepare it. So it doesn't prepare you technically speaking or something like that, but being able to handle, I would say, and process a lot of different type of information, and as well then handle all the stakeholders.
And how did you specifically, manage this relationship to all those developers, technical guys? Because the experience I make, usually, I have some friends from ETH and they just think about me, I'm a douchebag because I don't talk their language. And I, on the other hand, I wouldn't say I think they are douchebags, but you think, but they can program, but they would never be able to sell a product successfully, which is maybe, obviously this is a bit an exaggerated position, but how do you manage this tension? Because, and how do you stay credible with the technicians? Because they usually, I guess they could imagine, now there's this HSG guy coming, this product owner, and
what does he want?
What does he want? He has no clue. What are your best practices to handle this relationship?
Maybe something that is worth mentioning is that basically during COVID or just after HSG, I did a small boot camp of like a web development boot camp. So nothing. Le Wagon, exactly, yeah. And nothing really to do with like, hardcore backend programming or anything, but it gave me, we were developing some mobile, some web applications. So you also, and this basically what it gave me is the understanding of how code works, how is it, built, what you can do, what you cannot, and just a bit the logic of how it works. And I think this is very valuable because I can, if I sit in front of a code, I can kind of understand what it does, etc. Not at all, I cannot fix it, I cannot write it, but I can,
read it.
I read it a minimum. And I think this is very helpful. And then if you have this basic understanding of how code works from a logical perspective, then the rest is, will sound probably pretty obvious, but it's just, you need to be interested, just willing to understand, willing to learn, and willing to know what it's about, what is your product about, and really like going into the details. And then, there is nothing, as you say, it's just another language. It's a language we don't learn, but it's a language. And you need to be able to kind of understand how this language is constructed. You don't need to be able to speak it, but if you understand how the grammar works, then you can make of it. It's at the end of the day, it's logic. So you can, if you're interested, all is good.
So if you take today, we're recording this episode, in our off time at 7 p.m. You were working the whole day, I believe. What did you do? How much time of the day did you spend looking at the code that you that you can't rewrite, can't improve, but you can understand?
No, today 0 minutes, and this is not what you should do, right? But what's important is to understand a bit, how it works behind it, that you also understand from when someone is doing something like, okay, he's probably doing that when you have an issue or you have a bug or something, that you also can quickly connect, that's probably this, because, I remember that we did this and this that way, so we probably forgot to change this variable here or something like that. And I think this is the most important thing, but it's not, it would be completely wrong that someone from product management actually touches the code. That wouldn't be right. But understanding, being able to see, maybe have a look at some logs that were sent, or understand, the issue comes from here and here. This is important.
Yeah.
But more than that, this wouldn't be necessary.
So what did you do today? Specifically, what can I imagine? Is it sitting in meetings and catching up those product specifications that people want about something, customer needs, and then next call, jumping to a developer and telling you, look, we got this and that feedback. How do you think we can implement that? Or is it, I have really literally no clue what your work could look like. I have now an impression what it is all about, but what is on the ground? How do things work?
Yeah, sure. So we can. It's everyday different. So that's what's pretty exciting. But it's true. It's not just for the sake of it. But maybe, I don't know, if I had to give a basic day. You will start And having, maybe let's start, the hard way. So maybe you wake up and you have some incidents or someone complaining like this or that is not working. So you have a look at it. Maybe the client or the client of your application didn't use it correctly. So you just need to fix that, to see if it's a bigger issue or not.
Ideally 10 mails from your boss saying, please fix immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, kind of. And then once you have done that, let's say you would have a daily, a daily with your team. So you're going through the current task. We just to have a check where we stand, to make sure that we are doing the task in the right order with the right priorities. So just a quick check that everyone on the team is aware of what is going on, that we move in the right direction efficiently. Once this is done, you could catch up, for example, with a few other team where you have, interactions or integration to make sure that you understood correctly what the other team will do, what does it mean for you, that you don't forget things later on. So you really try to always think about all the little details that that could hurt you later on if you don't spend time on it. So that could be something, making sure that the timelines are still understood by everyone. Then you could spend a little bit of maybe a new feature has been kind of developed that is ready for starting testing. So you would spend a bit of time there. You would identify 1-2 maybe little bugs or something that was misunderstood a bit. You would like to redo it a bit differently. So then you would spend a bit of time there to change it. And what else? Then you could have just speak a bit about the timelines, making sure everything is defined properly. And then it's hard to tell. It's really, things pop up a bit left and right, but that's a bit the idea. And then also trying to take 1 or 2 hours of really calm time to be able to focus on thinking about the next task. What should we do? How should we do it? And making sure you are not forgetting anything to getting your feature done, and that it works then reliably, with stability, etc. So also then writing for the developers, for the people actually building it really clear requirement, clearly what we need, how it should look like, work like, etc. Because this is where, let's say, the first errors come from. If I cannot express precisely what the business side wants, then we have then there is very little chance that it works, because a computer always does exactly what you ask him to do. So if you don't ask him to do the right thing, then it will do something else.
And can you imagine yourself working in this, let's say, profession in the future? Is it something that you would consider also doing for 10 years, 20 years?
I think at least for starting, it's very interesting, because you're really in the core or what's happening. So I mean that you have almost a bit the hands in what's happening, what's being built, and I think this gives you really a very good understanding. And I would say even more important now that like more and more things are digital, like almost everything resolves around software now, and to have an understanding of how it works, how it's built, what are the challenges, what is actually a product, really having the hands into it, like having the running it also on a daily basis, seeing what are the struggle, how does it work, what does it require to be working, like all of this is super interesting. And I think, I hope a very good start of a career, because you know what it's about. And I think this is something that is very valuable, because you know what is going on, and it's not that straightforward. And I think this is very...
How specific, how Sygnum specific is it? Like, is being a product owner at Sygnum comparable to being a product owner at, let's say, Digitec Galactus?
I would say yes, because at the end of the day, you're responsible to develop, to bring your product where the clients, where the business wants it. And I mean, you are just involved. And I think it's also a very, it's a job where you can have a lot of satisfaction. I mean, you have a lot of ups and downs, that's for sure. But once you have something that works, you can be proud of it. And this, I think, is very nice at the beginning, because you're not only doing plans or wanting to do things or talking about it, but you're actually really doing it and making sure it works. And I think it's very challenging. You will have a lot of moments where you think, I don't know why it's so complicated, but it never works. But when everything works as expected, I think it's very fascinating. And I hope it's a really good school to actually know what's behind all of these softwares and how does it work and what does it mean actually to build software or to run software.
Yeah, I think software is a great in German we would say Stichwort. I don't even know how to say it in English, but it's a great word because software is, I think, something that we could talk about for ages again. But I think for now we slowly need to close. We have been talking so much about crypto and all those buzzwords and why they are buzzing and what do they actually mean. And then you've been explaining a lot about product management, which was really interesting. I hope at least some of those who listen can now either imagine a bit better what it means to be a product owner, and on the other hand, maybe got inspired to dive into, because I think it's really this translator role between business, technology, customer needs, features, which makes it really interesting, I think. And before we end, we usually have those story cubes. I didn't bring them today because I want to try a new format. And it's this. I could imagine I'm giving you 3 keywords. They're related a bit to university, and maybe you can just tell me one story that pops up your mind spontaneously when hearing this keyword. And I think this could be like a fun way to end.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, let's see.
So let's see what you're gonna make up of those keywords, and what kind of stories you're gonna tell me or tell us. So the first one, let's take. I think it's rather easy. Let's go for associations at HSG.
So should I now explain the story?
Yes. Well, what comes up your mind when you think about association at HSG? Maybe you were part of CF.
Yeah.
I could imagine there are a lot of fun things that happened during your time at CF.
Association wasn't involved enough in associations, that's for sure. But the one that would pop up for me as a Roma is a CF, Cercle Francophone. Definitely spent some fun times there. A lot of things happen, I think, during this meet. But I mean, otherwise, what would come to my mind when I think about HSG and association, it's almost, to me, the most. It's a very, very, very important point of the HSG. And now, thinking a bit more about it, I mean, huge, I guess, kudos again to the associations behind START, behind the symposium. I think it's absolutely amazing stuff that they do and great events. So I think this would be really my key highlights. I think like you're going to start the event and start global, like it's absolutely amazing. So definitely. I mean, one of the biggest living part of the HSG is the association.
Then number 2, I have on my list Trishli. What is your connection to Trishli?
The connection, I didn't spend much time in Trishli. I was doing a lot of sports when I was at HSG. But if I had to give one sentence, maybe it's badly designed. You're always in the way of someone. They need to fix that.
I'm going to let them know. And the third thing, I think you already mentioned it a bit. We knew each other beforehand, so that's why I wrote it down. It's triathlon.
Yes, triathlon. So HSG was great. It gave me a lot of time to do other things, right? Other passions. And I pursued that one for quite a lot. So it was indeed, let's say, semi-professional triathlete for a few years. And HSG was perfect for that because, I could escape the lectures quite a bit and go train or be abroad. So, this was as well a big part of the time I spent here.
And why did you stop? It was too intensive? Because I think it's a quite training intensive sport, right?
Yeah, I would say, let's be honest, not good enough. So at one point in time when, either you need to turn pro or not. And I guess when I was evaluating the odds of what would be the outcome if I was turning pro, I prefer to
turning against you.
I prefer to become a product manager.
You prefer to become a pro product manager.
Exactly. Yes.
Wonderful. So I think we covered a lot of topics today. Once again, thank you so much for coming, for also sharing some personal insights in the end. And I think if there's nothing else you want to add or that you feel like everyone needs to know, this would be the last chance.
No, I think that's it. Yeah, thanks a lot for putting this together. I mean, as I said, associations are great, and thanks for doing that. I think it's really great to do a podcast like that. And I mean, if anyone has any question or remarks or whatever that was discussed today, I mean, feel free to reach out.
We'll make sure that your contact details are in the description. And with that, thank you so much for everyone who tuned in today. Let us know what you thought about this episode, as well as all other episodes that you all hopefully have been listening. And if, I think there's nothing else, we say thank you and goodbye and see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you.